Hello, everyone. Welcome to Self-Love Over Sacrifice, where we talk about all things related to women's issues. Now, before I get started, if you could please leave a comment down below, let me know what you think about this Brian McKnight nonsense, and make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to share and like this video. Now, let's get into it. Brian McKnight's son recently passed away of cancer. Brian McKnight did not go and say goodbye, pay his respects, none of that to his son. And I just want to say that Brian McKnight made a comment, I want to say a year ago, stating that his children were created in sin. Now, I don't know what that has to do with him not wanting to be around his family, but he's made it very clear that he doesn't want anything to do with his black children. He is currently married to a woman of no color and seems to be the daunting father of her children. So that's a concern, because why would you leave your black kids behind? Families get into it all the time, but these are your sons, right? They need you. Now, Cecilia Regina 275 is a TikToker, and she also has an account here on YouTube. She's an excellent content creator. She does a deep analysis on this, but I just want to piggyback on some of the things that she says. When you see black men become successful, a lot of them do not share their resources within their community, and oftentimes will leave their black wives behind, or black girlfriends, or baby mamas. As you see, this is the situation that I'm talking about. Many of them have a bad reputation within the community, with abandoning their families, being aggressive with the women in this community. As you see, the Diddy situation, Shannon Sharp, and the list goes on. And we're just not talking about celebrity men, we're talking about men in general within our community. They have a horrible reputation, and in their delulu brain cell, they think, well, if I hop over here to the other side and get a woman of another race and be kind to her children, or adopt kids of another race like Lionel Richie did with Nicole Richie, Michael Jackson and his children, and that's some regular schmegler black men who've also adopted boys from another race, but typically white boys. Now, I'm not knocking the fact that they have chosen to adopt children of another race, but this is the same race of men, okay, who have heavily blamed black women for the state of the community, not drug dealing, not pew-pew violence and drive-bys, none of these things, okay? Abandoning your families at alarming rates, none of these things are their fault. It is black women's fault, and their fault only for the downfall of the black community. Me, myself, being an African-American woman, have seen a lot of this foolishness play out in our community. And the question that has to ponder to me is, why wouldn't you adopt black sons? Here you are, a black man, you know what it feels like to be discriminated in this country, to be stereotyped in this country, although many of them create those stereotypes. You know what it feels like. Why not adopt black boys and give them a life they've never seen? I can tell you why. Because they want to be white adjacent. There is a black man who adopted some white boys, and he says, oh, he always gets accused of kidnapping these kids. Are they yours? And he'll say, no, they're mine. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they want that approval from white people. That approval that says, oh, you're one of the good ones. You're a good boy. I remember in, what was that movie? Roost, Toby Be Good Boy. That's what they want. They want that pat on the head for being a good boy and not being like the rest of them. They want to stand out from the rest, which I find to be really odd, right? So here we are dealing with Brian McKnight, who was pretty much abandoned his black family, which I can't understand for the life of me. What kind of woman in her right mind would find it attractive and want to procreate with a man who won't even take care of his past family? You don't do that, ladies, because what a man has done to his previous family, I can guarantee he'll do it to you too at some point. But looking at this situation is completely sad, and it's diabolical when you look at a young man who really needed his father's love and attention. That's really what he wanted and requested, and not what he got, even on his dying deathbed, right? We're looking at a relationship between two individuals in which his son had him in his early life. If you saw some of the photos of their early years together, he was in his son's life, and I guess he decided once his career really took off that he wanted no more to do with his black family. White approval is golden to many men in our community. It is. Being told that you're not like the rest, being told that you're a token, being told that you talk different, you act different, you dress different, you live different, it makes them feel away. It makes them feel separate from the rest. They separate themselves from the rest because of the stereotypes they have created for themselves. That's the reason why they want that approval so bad. And they go beyond the call of duty to be disgraceful to their black families is to get that extra pat on the back, being told that you're a good boy. You're a good boy. You're not like the rest, right? I do ask black mothers out there who have black sons to try to make sure you get your sons involved in some type of mentorship where he's around other grown adult men who are guiding him and giving him healthy advice, because they desperately need that, and they do not need to have any downtime. As a woman myself who works in the mental health field and has been doing it for 20 plus years, I am a strong advocate with encouraging parents to get your sons involved in boxing in the summertime, especially the summer months when they're out of school. Get them involved in some sort of sport, or you can get them piano lessons, violin lessons, the list goes on. Make sure you keep them off of the streets, because it looks to me like there are men out there, particularly in this community obviously, who don't want to do the right thing. And because they have such an identity crisis and a lot of racial trauma within themselves, they don't like what they look like. They want to breed themselves out. They don't value marriage. They have convinced black women that you don't deserve marriage, you don't deserve love, respect, and honor, that it's more important to give it to a woman of another race. Your sons really need to be around men who are healthy with their mind right, because a man with an unhealthy mind is a dangerous man, and he should not be around anybody, even if it is the father of your kids, because we know men can play some games and pretend like they're this great grandstand human being, and they're not. Yes, I do work with young girls, but the majority of the girls in our community come out pretty fine. They go off to go to college, to get degrees, they start businesses. We know that the studies don't lie, statistics don't lie on what we do in society. It is the men in this community, the boys, who struggle the most because they lack healthy male mentorship. Look at Red Pill. Look at the manosphere. The manosphere is filled with many black men, and the interesting part about this situation is the fact that they have destroyed any little bit of support that they got from black women because of their own ignorance, because they're aligning themselves with racists who don't even like them. So it's natural that you would see a Brian McKnight who would want to be white adjacent, to get himself away from the black community. Again, getting himself away from the black community in which this mess, this stereotype that they created. Anyways, leave a comment down below once again. Don't forget to share this. Let me know what you think about this. I'd love to know your opinion. Y'all stay blessed and take care. Bye.